you're feeling down in the dumps, tired of your health holding you back, look no further than Fire Your MD Now with Dr. Glidden, the radio show that strives to get you in optimal health. Look out, Big Pharma. Someone is looking for the knockout punch. Here's Dr. Glidden.
Wednesday, March 5th, 2014. Welcome aboard. Let's pick up where we left off yesterday. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your host for the next 2 hours, God willing, and the creek don't rise. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician, and we talk today and every weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. Central Time about the wonders of holistic medicine, the undiscovered. Take you through on a tour through the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified holistic medicine, and we pull back the curtain on the outrageous, egregious failures given to the world by conventional medical therapeutics, aka the pharmaceutical industry and your MD. By the way, new number to call the show into to talk to me live. It's an 800 number. Well, all the 800 numbers are taken up. It's a toll-free number, 844-DR Glidden, 844-DR Glidden. How about that? That translates to 844-374-5433. 844-374-5433. That's 844-DR Glidden. Check it out. Put it on your speed dial. That's the number to call to reach me live on this show today and every day. That's 844-374-5433. Now, let's talk about law. Holistic medicine is built upon immutable laws of nature, which holistic physicians have recorded and observed over millennia. Contemporary MD-directed allopathic reductionistic medicine is built upon whimsy. There are no laws which are at play, and this is why the MDs move the goalposts all of the time. First, they'll tell you that cholesterol is bad, and then they'll tell you that cholesterol is good, and then they'll tell you that this set of numbers represents high blood pressure, and then they change their mind and change it up. Then they'll tell you that type 2 diabetes is caused by this, that, or the other thing, and then they'll tell you that it's not. Then they'll tell you that the best way to cure yourself of an illness is to open up an artery or a vein and let the bad humors out, or stick a leech on the body, and then they change their mind. The MD's philosophy of healing is an anti-philosophy because it doesn't believe of healing, because it doesn't believe that such a thing is possible. The MDs are trained to believe that your body is an accidental evolutionary biochemical bag of crap, and that it's only a matter of time until something in the body goes awry, and then your only choice is to let the doctor march in with symptom suppressive drugs to manage, override, and control the innate God-given workings of the human body. This is the fundamental difference. The MD does not believe a cure is possible. Holistic physicians attempt to cure all of the time. This is the single biggest difference between what MDs do, what they're trained in, and what every other holistic physician in the world is trained in. Samuel Hahnemann, the founder of the holistic school of thought of homeopathic medicine, wrote a wonderful book outlining the rules of the rules of the road for homeopathy based on observation and clinical experience, trying to understand the laws of nature. And I'm talking about immutable laws of nature. Laws are not subject to belief. For instance, gravity. You know, if you're gorked out of your mind on LSD, and you climb to the top of the Empire State Building, and you actually believe down to your bones, because of the effects of the drug, that you can fly, all of a sudden you stop believing in gravity. Or even if you don't know anything about gravity and you jump off the Empire State Building, you're going to fall to your death because gravity exists independent of your belief. Mathematics existed in Cro-Magnon days. 2 plus 2 was 4 before people knew how to count. Pi existed before people knew what the relationship between the radius and the circumference of a circle was and the diameter. It existed. Needs to be uncovered. Truths need to be uncovered. And there are truths which pervade the physical universe and pervade the workings of the human body, and holistic physicians attempt to discern, uncover, and record these truths. In the Organon of Medicine, Samuel Hahnemann's opus, the first paragraph, the very first law, the very first foundation, holistic homeopathic principle. The physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health. The physician's mission is to restore the sick to health. Well, this begs the question, what is health, right? If you don't know what health is, how can you possibly hope to restore somebody to that state? If you don't know where Nebraska is, how can you possibly give someone directions to how to get there? You can't. So you want to have fun with your MD? You want to have fun with a medical professional? You want to have fun with your psychiatrist? Ask them to define health. Ask them to define health and watch their head spin. Watch them obfuscate. Watch them shuffle. Watch them make things up. Watch them get just a little embarrassed because they can't do it. The MDs are not trained in the definition of health. They're not. Therefore, it is impossible for them to lead you, me, or anybody else to that state because, in actuality, they do not believe that it exists. Health, like life, is an accident. Health, of course, according to the MD, is, an absence of disease. And it's only a matter of time until disease shows up. And then it's not the physician's duty to bring someone into a state of health because you can't prove a negative. It's the physician's job just to manage and suppress and control your symptoms. Health is a fiction, perhaps enjoyed by a small child for weeks or months at a time, and then it's all over but the crying baby. Well, this is a very interesting point to ponder. It's an interesting philosophy to understand and wrap your head around. If, in fact, it is the physician's duty to restore somebody to a state of health, then that physician better have a working knowledge of what it means to be healthy. Which, of course, begs the question, how do holistic physicians define health? Well, homeopathic physicians, and I define health as the following. Health is the ability of a living biological system to experience the stress of life and remain symptom-free in a state of dynamic equipoise. If you can experience the stress of life and remain symptom-free, you are exhibiting a state of health. I can't tell you how many people that have come to me, either in kind of a generic form, wanting just, generic boilerplate medical advice through the agency of this radio program or through longevity lectures, or actual patients that I've secured, when I had an active private practice. I still do have a private practice, but, it's secondary or tertiary to the bigger picture now of longevity. So many hundreds, probably thousands, I've lost count. Undoubtedly, people will say, Doc, I'm pretty healthy. I'm pretty healthy, but I've got this arthritis for 5 years. I've got a problem with blood pressure. I've got this eczematous condition. I've got constant chronic pain in my wrist, but I'm pretty healthy. I feel pretty good. I'm doing pretty good, Doc. I'm pretty healthy. And then they'll read me a laundry list of all of their symptoms. That's because people are not educated as to what health is. If you are experiencing a symptom, by definition, you are not healthy. Now, I'm going to read you something from a book entitled Lectures on Homeopathic Philosophy. This was written by one of the preeminent luminaries of homeopathic medicine in the 1800s, James Tyler Kent. This book was published by North Atlantic Books, the Homeopathic Educational Services in Berkeley, California. Lectures on Homeopathic Philosophy. Kent is talking about the relationship between symptoms and the genesis of disease. I want you to hear this through somebody else's mind and through somebody else's words other than mine. Again, a quote. Again, let's look at the nervous child. The child has wild dreams, twitching, restless sleep, nervous excitement, hysterical manifestations. But if we examine all the organs of the body, we will find nothing the matter with them. The sickness, however, which is present, if allowed to go uncured, will, in 20 or 30 years, result in tissue change. The organs will become affected, and then it will be said that the body is diseased. But the individual has been sick from the beginning. It is a question whether we will start out and consider the results of disease or begin at the beginning with the causes. If we have material ideas of disease, we will have material ideas of the means of cure. If we believe an organ is sick and alone constitutes the disease, we must feel that if we could remove the organ, we could cure the patient. A man who has an infected condition of the hand, then if we believe that only the hand is sick, we would think we had cured the patient by removing his hand. Say the hand is cancerous. According to this idea, it is cancerous in itself and from itself, and seeing he would later die from the cancer of his hand, we would conscientiously remove the hand and so cure the patient. For an eruption on the skin, we would use local means to stimulate the functions of the skin and make it heal. And believing the eruption had no cause behind it, we would conscientiously think that we had cured the patient. But this is reductio ad absurdum. That's Latin for nonsense. I should start using that one more often. Make me feel fancy schmancy, right? Abductio ad absurdum, and that's not a Harry Potter, spell, right? Sounds like it. Reductio ad absurdum, for nothing exists without a cause. The organs are not the man. The man is prior to the organs. From first to last is the order of sickness as well as the order of cure. From man to his organs and not from the organs to man. So this is an interesting thing to talk about, right? If you are dealing with a strong and persistent symptom, by definition, your body has removed itself from a state of health. It's like the check engine light is on in the dashboard, and you need to recover your health, baby. And how are you going to do that? Stick around. I'm going to tell you after the break. So, back in the day, people used to think, or so legends say, that thunder and lightning were caused by Thor in Valhalla beating upon things with his hammer, right? That's actually not the cause of thunder and lightning, but people believed it to be so at a certain point in time, and they were all incorrect. I mean, before we knew about, microbes, people thought that there were bad humors inside the body, right? And nobody knew how they got in there, but they thought they were in the blood, and that's what you had to do to make people healthy. At least that's what the MDs thought. The homeopaths never thought such nonsense. But my point here is that we think certain things, not because they're true, but because collectively the society that we're in has all agreed that they're true. It's reality by consensus, right? Women aren't smart enough to vote. Well, everybody believed that at one point in time, and everybody was wrong. Oh, the earth is flat. Everybody believed that at one point in time, but everybody was wrong. And so it is with our education and understanding of the nature of disease and the human body. And the MDs have gotten this completely wrong. And this is why you need to avoid them, because they do not understand the nature of disease, and they have no earthly idea whatsoever about how to bring someone into a state of health. So I'm going to continue reading here from James Tyler Kent's Lectures on Homeopathic Philosophy. I quote, "It's the sole duty of the physician to heal the sick. It is not his sole duty to heal the results of sickness, but the sickness itself. When the person himself has been restored to health, there will be restored harmony in the tissues and in their activities. When the person himself has been restored to health, there will be restored harmony in the tissues and in the activities of the tissues. Then, the sole duty of the physician is to put in order the interior of the economy, the will and the understanding conjoined. Tissue changes are of the body and are the results of disease. They are not the disease. End quote. The asthma is not the disease. The enlarged heart is not the disease. The arthritic knee is not the disease. The ulcerated stomach is not the disease. They are the results of disease. They didn't just happen spontaneously. Wake up one morning and all of a sudden you got an ulcer in your stomach and it just happened for no reason whatsoever. There was a cause. But the MDs are not concerned with the cause. They're only concerned with managing the symptom, and they've got it wrong. They've thrown the baby out with the bathwater because they do not get it. They're not concerned with the cause, and they have mistaken the results of the disease with the disease process itself. It's nonsense. It's like the blind leading the blind. Again, I go on, and I'm going to finish up here in just a second. Please bear with me. This is important. Tissue changes, I quote, tissue changes are of the body and are the results of the disease. They are not the disease. Hahnemann, the founder of homeopathic medical science, once said, there are no diseases, only sick people. From which it is clear that Hahnemann understood that the diseases were but the grosser forms of the results. They were the appearance of the disease. There is first disorder of government, and this proceeds from within outward until we have pathological changes in the tissues. In the practice of medicine today, the idea that the inner workings of the body are not found and that tissue changes only are to be taken into account, end quote. What does this mean? This means that the holistic physician attempts to get to the root cause of what's causing the problem. The holistic physician doesn't try to just, remove the arthritic knee because there was some, and replace it with a titanium knee, brought to you by Pfizer. The holistic physician attempts to understand the cause of the arthritic condition and cut the cause off at the roots, eliminating the cause of the disease. MDs confuse tissue changes with the disease itself, and this is completely ass backwards. They've got it completely wrong. So this is why, right, MDs treat disease. You go to the MD, you get one treatment for your blood pressure. You get one treatment for your arthritic knee. You get one treatment for your insomnia, one treatment for your heartburn. They're not treating the real root cause of the disease. They're just dealing with the symptoms. That's all that they do. They're pharmacists who have been taught diagnostic techniques and given a medical license. That's what your MD is. They deliver drugs to suppress symptoms, to manage symptoms which are the results of the disease, and in so doing they leave the disease process unchecked. So guess what? Things get worse. You go straight to hell in a handbasket. That's why MD-directed medical treatment's the leading cause of death and bankruptcy. 844-374-5433. That's the new number. That's 844-DR-Glidden to talk to me live. A couple more things before we go to the phones, I think. Germany's up first. So, your MD is not trained in medicine. Nobody is. MD is a vast domain. Your MD is trained in one small subset of medical science. It's referred to as allopathic reductionism. Allopathic reductionism believes that the human body is an evolutionary accident. It's a biochemical bag of chemicals, and it's only a matter of time until something goes wrong. And when something goes wrong, it's the MD's job not to It's the MD's job to treat your symptoms. It's the MD's job to treat the disease. They treat the stomach. They treat the blood pressure. They treat the knee. They give medicines which suppress the active symptoms of the body and which leave the root cause of the disease process unaffected. All they do is suppress and manage symptoms. The goal is not to cure anything because they do not believe that that is possible. The goal is simply to manage your symptoms. They attempt to affect the results of disease, not the cause of disease. The results of disease, not the cause of disease. The holistic physician, on the other hand, I don't care what they are. I don't care if they're an Ayurvedic practitioner or a chiropractor, a homeopath, an acupuncturist, traditional Chinese medical doctor, a naturopathic physician. If they're holistic, they are trained in different methods, different ways up the mountain, which attempt to fix the cause of the illness and bring the person into a state of health. Now, who would you rather see? Someone who doesn't believe a cure is possible and who only treats the results of disease, or someone who believes a cure is possible and treats the causes of disease? Well, of course, everyone would rather go to the latter, someone who attempts to treat the cause of disease and bring the person back into a state of health. But sadly, that's not what the MD does. But nobody knows this, because it's a monopolized medical theater, and you haven't been schooled about this. You haven't been educated about this. You have no earthly idea how to do this. You have no earthly idea what these distinctions are, and so we're led into perdition by our lack of knowledge, because we trust that the MD knows what's best for us, but they only know how to suppress symptoms. They only know how to manage the results of the disease process, and they are completely blind as to the cause of disease. Completely blind to it. And this is the biggest mistake that we make, is bringing a sick body into the office of an MD. I mean, so what do we do in the holistic theater? Well, chiropractors adjust the thoracic vertebrae. They adjust the bony tissue of the body because it's the bony tissue which supports the nervous system. And the whole idea behind chiropractic medicine is when you optimize central nervous system function through manual adjustment of the spine, you optimize the power of the body to fix itself, because the body wants to fix itself all of the time. An Ayurvedic practitioner will deliver herbs, the intention of which are to undo blockages in the body, which are keeping the body's inherent self-healing capacities from working. It's kind of like if your sink is clogged up, you got to get rid of the clog, right? You got to bring in the Drano. You got to get rid of the clog, or you're going to be in a world of hurt. Acupuncturists intend to treat the energetic pathways, the invisible energetic pathways of the body, which are regulating all of the unseen processes of the body, with acupuncture needles. The intention there, again, is to eliminate energy blockages, which are screwing up the soup. Not a bad idea. Holistic medical nutrition that we talk about on this program, the intention of which is simply and only to provide your body with the raw materials that it needs to fix itself, and then get the hell out of the way. Because the operative understanding of all of these holistic schools of thought is one single idea. It's actually a law. The human body knows how to fix itself. The human body wants to fix itself. The human body is attempting all of the time to bring itself back into an optimal state of health. And it is the physician's duty to assist the body in doing this, in whatever way they're trained in. Chiropractor does it one way, acupuncturist does it one way, homeopath does it one way, naturopath does it one way. The way that I talk about on this radio show mostly is science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. I have the easiest job in the world. I just tell you what to give your body, so that it can work optimally, tell you how to stop gumming up the works, and then encourage you to get out of the way and let the body go to work. I mean, it's easy. All we do is set Willie free, baby. That's all we do. Free Willie. That's all we do. You let him out of the pen and let nature take its course. So this is very interesting, right? Your MD is not concerned with the cause of disease. Your MD is only trained to manage the results of disease, but because they're such an archaic, old-fashioned, out-of-touch profession, they actually have been enrolled to believe that what they do is the only thing possible and that they're actually the only true physicians in the world, and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack, when in point of fact it's the opposite. The only people selling snake oil have MD after their name. The only people practicing quack medicine have MD after their name. As God is my witness. Oh, and one of my pet peeves, right? The MDs will always tell you that homeopathic medicine is placebo because it can't possibly work because of the way that the medicines are prepared. That acupuncture has to be placebo because there's no diagnostic tool, there's no electronic tool that's ever been able to discern and discover and record and objectify the hidden energy pathways, the meridians of the body that the acupuncturists are managing with their acupuncture needles. And so because we don't have the technology yet to be able to see these things, therefore they don't exist, and therefore it's all hook'em. Well, I got news for you. You don't understand how gravity works either, but does that mean it doesn't exist? Not even Einstein could figure out what makes gravity work. There are a lot of different theories. Nobody knows what causes gravity. Nobody's dialed it in. There are theories, but nobody's figured it out. If you could figure it out, you could figure out how to stop its effects, and then we'd all have anti-gravity cars. Wouldn't that be great? One of these days, we're going to do that. But that doesn't mean that gravity doesn't exist just because we have no idea what causes it. There are 5 laws of homeopathy. 5 laws of homeopathy. One of the laws of homeopathy is what I just talked about, the nature of health and symptomology. It's the nature of health itself. One of the laws of homeopathy is how the medicines are prepared, and the way that a homeopath prepares his medicine bends the rules of physics. The way that a homeopath prepares the medicine that they give to sick people bends the rules of physics, and MDs scratch their heads and they think, oh, that can't possibly work, just because they don't understand the mechanism. They dismiss it because they don't understand it. They dismiss it because they don't understand it. And they never, ever, ever, ever have a conversation about the nature of disease itself, the nature of the healing process itself. They can't go there because they know if they did go there, they'd lose the argument, because theirs is a philosophy built upon shifting sands. I swear to God, I don't know who started all of this nonsense, but it is, it's inside out, it's upside down, it's, we're like Alice through the looking glass. Everything is backwards, run by madmen and mad women. But because they're in the majority, we just all accept it as, par for the course, baby. Which is why I do this radio show. Believe me, I've got better things to do. I'd love to devote, I'd love to, raise millions of dollars for research and real holistic research and set up a holistic research foundation and really get some traction here. But, I'm doing this because there's a need. There's a need that must be filled. People are suffering needlessly simply because they don't know there are alternatives that have been developed and delivered by physicians, licensed and regulated physicians. How about that? Which actually support and promote the body's ability to optimize its health and recover, optimize its function and recover its health. Nobody knows what we know, and everybody needs to know what we know, and that's why I do what I do. That's why Dr. Wallach does what he does. At 74, he ain't going to stop until he keels over, and that ain't going to happen until he's 120. This is why longevity exists. We are forwarding a grassroots coalition of the informed. We are building a non-militant army. armed with knowledge bullets. Bullet points. Not bullets, but bullet points. How about that? Of knowledge. Look, you don't have to suffer with a chronic disease. There is a point of no return beyond which your body can't get on the other side of it, but I don't know where that is. Your medical doctor certainly doesn't know, doesn't even care where that is. Everybody needs to give medical nutrition a try, and the results that we get with medical nutrition often exceed your wildest expectations. If you've listened to this show long enough, you've heard the testimonials. I do not screen the calls. I have no idea what anybody's going to say before they get there live with me in real time. None of this is rehearsed, by the way. It's all as raw and as live as it gets, and we do that on purpose because that lends a certain authenticity to what we do. Now, you want to keep your head in the dark, go right ahead. And, you know, it's a relatively free world, right? We still have free will. But when you hear the truth over and over and over and over, and people call in with results over and over and over and over, eventually, the better part of you is going to get the better part of you. Because what we talk about resonates with the better part of you, resonates with that source of vital force inside of you that knows right from wrong, that knows good from evil, that knows what's the right thing to do, and can appreciate the truth of the matter. You can't argue with a beautiful sunset. Even harder to argue with a beautiful sunrise, and that's what longevity is. It's a beautiful sunrise. That's all we do, is we just shine, baby, shine, and before you know it, our light is going to reach everybody in the world. And this is how we're going to change the world, one person at a time, one vital force at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody in your life needs to know about this radio show. And did you know you can listen to the podcast for 24/7? I mean, you can listen to the podcast from any show that I've ever done whenever you want. It's all there in the library. Just check it out. GCNlive.com is the website of the radio program, and my website, well, you know what that is. It's easy. FireYourMDNow.com. If you forget it or can't remember it, just do a Google search for Dr. Glidden. I always pop up number one, and I got to tell you, it's good to be number one. We're going to Germany when we come back. Achtung, baby. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Today is the 5th day of March, 2014, and you are listening to Fire Your MD Now. Stick around. Big bada boom, baby. Knowledge is power. Healing is it's right around the corner. It is right around the corner. Let's go to Germany now and see what Gottfried is up to. Achtung, baby. Thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Doc. How are you?
I am good, but I'll get better. Thanks for the call, Gottfried. It's always a pleasure talking to you. What's going on?
Thanks. Number one is that I just suggested that due to the problem with the powdered SOFX Plus, why not integrate the liquid, or giving customers option to integrate the liquid SOFX Plus with the 2.0?
That's a great idea. I'm going to float that to the muckety mucks at Longevity and see whether or not that flies. Of course, Longevity being a big, it's a big organization, and it's a publicly traded company now. It's a corporation, and not all corporations are evil. Longevity is a good corporation, but because it's a corporation, there are economic guidelines that they have to go by. And so just because it's a great idea doesn't necessarily mean that the company's going to run with it, because there are all of these other financial considerations that people like you and I are completely blind to. So, it's a great idea. I'm going to float the idea, and we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed to see whether or not they take it up. I think there's enough interest in that, and I couldn't agree more. So keep your fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens.
So the second one is a downline. After being on the product for a month, he have a lot of solutions to his eyes, to the peripheral neuropathy, but his sugar level is still not coming down.
Okay, so he's all right. Well, so this is just where understanding comes into play, right? I mean, I don't know if you're a gardener, Gottfried, but in the springtime here in the Midwest, you know, we plant gardens, and if I plant a tomato seed on April 1st, I'm not going to be eating a tomato on April 2nd. I'm not even going to be. I'm not going to be eating a tomato until July sometime, right? So, healing is a process. It takes time. I've seen blood sugar resolve in 2 weeks. I've seen it take 6 months to go away, right? But in the meantime, until the numbers budge, what we do anticipate and what we do expect and what we do look for, just to know that we're doing the right stuff, right? Because we don't want to waste time. Is something specific and measurable that's positive somewhere. So if this guy is already getting positive results, you know, with his vision or whatever, his sleep, his mood, his energy, his appetite, whatever, as long as something positive is at play, then all he needs to do is maintain the discipline and give his body a chance to bounce back. It's just it's a waiting game. And it's a completely different way. I mean, it's a very, very different way of dealing with a medical therapeutic than anybody is used to. We're so used to, right, going to the MD and popping a pill that suppresses the symptom, and 24 hours later, if not an hour later, we feel better, right?
Yeah.
That's not how this works, man. As long as positive results are at play, then he just has to maintain the discipline and give his body a chance.
Okie dokie.
Artichoke, you're the greatest, Gottfried. Call me anytime, brother. Keep up the good work in Germany.
Take care, Doc.
I'll look
Thank
forward
you very
to
much.
it. You're welcome very much. Our good friend Gottfried, he's really waving the flag in Germany. There's only a handful of people across the pond who have taken this upon themselves. We've got people in Cyprus. We've got people in London. We've got people in Singapore. We've got people in Germany. And there's one other place that escapes. Well, of course, Australia. So, you know, we're spreading slowly, ladies and gentlemen. But you can't keep the truth under a bushel. You just can't. It's only a matter of time until this word leaks out. And then this is going to be a worldwide phenomenon, and it's going to happen in our lifetimes. And you heard it here first. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Stick around. Hour 2 is coming up, and it's all phone calls all the time in Hour 2. Robert from Colorado is up next at the top of Hour 2. 844-374-5433. That's 844 Dr. Glidden. Give me a call, and let's talk about health recovery with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition.
Feeling down in the dumps? Tired of your health holding you back? Look no further than Fire Your MD Now with Dr. Glidden, the radio show that strives to get you in optimal health. Look out, Big Pharma. Someone is looking for the knockout punch. Here's Dr. Glidden.
So how do you like that new phone number, huh? We're moving up in the world. 844-374-5433. That's 844-Dr. Glidden. If you're listening to the podcast and want to information about what we're up to, if you'd like help ordering the nutritional supplements, like help figuring out what the heck's going on, here, that number, 347-3696. And remember, Youngevity is a worldwide coalition of different associates in different downlines, in different groups all around the world. So if somebody, if a living, breathing human being, already a member of Youngevity, told you about this radio show and you like what we're talking about and you think you'd like to try it, then get with the person who showed you this radio show, because it's their job to teach you the ropes, so to speak, and to get you the products at the wholesale price. If you heard about this radio show through happenstance, through a YouTube search, through a Google search, or because an angel of the Lord appeared to you in a dream, then call us up and let us help you figure out what to do. You can join Team Glidden, become a Youngevity representative in my organization, if you have been directed here by the universe. And that number again, 855-347-3696. Let's go to Colorado and see what Robert's up to. Hey, Robert, thanks for the phone call.
Hey, Doctor, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, listen, man, it's a big state. It's one of my favorite states. What part of the state are you in?
Draw a line 30 miles south of Denver, downtown, and that's about me.
Very nice.
Yeah, just off the Front Range. 60 degrees right now, and we had 6 inches of snow last night about midnight.
You know, one of my favorite places in the world is Fort Collins, Colorado.
I have some friends up there.
Yeah, I've been to Fort Collins a lot. The first time I ever went to Fort Collins, it must have been, 9-10 years ago now. It was in January, and I got off the plane at Denver. It was like 65 degrees in January. I couldn't believe it.
Yep. That's Colorado. That's why we live here. Great place to get some mountain oysters up there in Fort Collins.
Yeah. I've heard about that, but I ain't going there, brother. I am not going there.
Well, there's got to be some minerals there.
Yeah, well, you would think, right? At least some vitamins, right? So the only place in my life I've ever, besides a museum, I've ever seen a live elk up close and personal. We were driving to a Youngevity representative's house in Colorado Springs. It was right around twilight, and he lives up this, 2 miles up this mountain road, right? We turned the corner going up to his house, and 3 or 4 elk jumped across the road. I mean, they're as big as dinosaurs, man. I've never seen an animal that was that large. It was really pretty cool.
Yeah, well, make sure you got a bigger car if they jump out at you at night. No fun.
Hey, Robert, man, thanks for the call. How can I help?
Well, let's see. I'm almost 60. I'm down 65 pounds since September on Healthy Body Weight Loss Pack 2.0. I'm taking enzymes and glucogel. I'm down to about 265 now. But every time I take the Beyond Osteo FX, about an hour later, I'm looking for a restroom.
Is it the powder or the liquid?
The powder.
Yeah, you got to switch it out to the liquid. It's unusual that would happen with the powder. Well, there's 2 things you can do. You've got some left. You don't have to switch it out before you do this little experiment, right? Okay. So, how many total scoops of that stuff have you been taking every day?
I've been taking, 1 heaping, or not truly heaping, but not a good scoop. And I just broke down and started mixing it in a jar, and I'm taking it, make the jar last the whole day. But still, after the, first couple of swallows, like I said, an hour later, it's like, it's about time to find a bathroom, maybe.
And you're thinking, how do you know it's the calcium that's doing that and not one of the other supplements?
Because, for instance, this morning I've got the BTT in a jar, and I hadn't even started taking that yet. Just bad morning. And it wasn't going there yet. So,
all right. It's a good point. So then you've got this dialed in. It's the calcium that's doing it. So this lends itself to 2 data bits of information that should be helpful to you. Number 1, the supplement itself is not a problem. If it was a supplement itself, then everybody who took it would have the problem. The problem is your body's ability to absorb it, and there's only one thing that causes that to be a problem. It's consistent consumption in your life of wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So
Okay.
that stuff's got to go. You got to be gluten-free. You just got to do it.
Posted that up on my counters, and I said I'm going to do it.
All right, good. And I got to tell you, Robert, it seems daunting when you're intellectually postulating about doing it, but once you actually jump on the horse and ride it, it's a million times easier than you thought it was going to be. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There is a learning curve, but look, man, if you can pass the driver's license exam, you can learn how to be gluten-free. I mean, it's not that difficult, and I would encourage you to go to Wellness Warriors with a Z, Wellness Warriors with a Z on Facebook. That's a longevity group. It's from many different downlines all around the world, and there's lots of really helpful information there about, holy smokes, I'm gluten-free, finally, what do I eat for breakfast or whatever. You can find lots of information and lots of support because, we don't want you on rice and beans for the rest of your life, right?
No, nothing wrong with rice and beans. But
well, yeah, but you got to have some fun. You got to have some fun, right?
Well,
Now, in the meantime, though, that's not going to solve the problem with the Beyond Osteo FX giving you diarrhea or loose stools or frequent stools or gas or whatever. So you got to switch it out to an alternate product. You got to find one that doesn't cause this problem. And so what I would do is I would take the I would go with the Cal Toddy. Actually.
Cal Toddy?
Yeah,
okay.
I do, and that's a Superlife product. Superlife. It's a longevity subsidiary. It's in the back office under the Superlife tab. Okay. Just get one bottle to start with. And here's how I'd like you to do that. I'd like you to do a teaspoon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A teaspoon 8 times a day. A teaspoon 8 times a day, and I want you to do that in a little bit of orange juice or pineapple juice or some type of acidic juice, just in 2-3 ounces of it, and throw it down. Okay. Now, just do that as an experiment for one day. If you can handle that, then I want you to go to 1 tablespoon, 1, 2, 3, 4 times a day. 1 tablespoon 4 times a day. And if you can handle that, then I want you to do 1 ounce twice a day. Okay. And that's the operative dose for you at your current body weight would be 1 ounce twice a day. And of course, as you increase the dosage, you want to add a little bit more orange juice or pineapple juice or whatever, right?
Right.
And ostensibly, you should be able just to throw that stuff down in a small dose all at once, to drink it like a shot of whiskey, and you should be fine. Now, another thing that you can do, you're already doing it, though, because you're drinking the OsteoFX slowly over time, and it's still giving you problems. So you're going to have to just switch it out. But the reason that the reason it's happening is because your system's been hammered by gluten your entire life, and that needs to go.
Yep. So corn tortillas, are they gluten-free?
Yeah, they are, man. They're great.
Okay, I wasn't sure of that because I switched to those. At least it's something I can eat like that. So.
Well, look, so you can have the hamburger, not the bun.
Oh, I've done that forever. Before I started this, I was, Joe Adkins.
Oh, there you go. So it's very, very, very similar to that. So the only thing that you need to avoid as far as grains are concerned are wheat, barley, rye, and oats.
Right.
Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Wheat's the biggest problem because they put wheat in everything, man. I mean, it's in everything.
Right. Now, what's the deal with the potato skins?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you bake a potato and the skins get crunchy, right, and really tasty, the protein in the skin turns into a nasty little chemical called a heterocyclic amine, which is carcinogenic. And that's not good. Now, if you boil the potato, that doesn't happen. It's interesting. So if you boil a potato or stew it or crock pot it, you can eat the potato and the skin, but if you bake it, you can only eat the potato and not the skin.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Is there anything that I can take to help the elasticity of my skin, since it seems to be getting loose and more than
because of the weight loss, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, you're doing the glucogel. You're doing
Right.
essential fatty acids. So there's a product that is not inside of Youngevity that you should get that would help that. Specifically, the mineral that the body needs to create the molecule elastin. Elastin, which keeps your tissues elastic, is copper.
Okay.
Now, there's copper in the Youngevity selenium supplement. Are you taking any of that?
It's on the next auto ship.
Okay, so you could stick with that and see if it works, but I don't think you're going to get enough bang for your buck. There's
Okay.
a type of copper you can get on the internet. It's called meso copper, M-E-S-O copper. It's a colloidal copper. Like this colloidal silver, right?
Right.
Well, this is a colloidal copper supplement. And I would get that, and I would take it for like 90 days.
Okay.
Because that will go a long way towards helping your body to make more elastin, because it's a much more bioavailable form of copper. And one of these days, that might be a Youngevity thing. But in the meantime, the only way you can get adequate amounts of copper into your body to help your body optimize its function in this manner would be with the selenium. I'm a big, giant advocate of the selenium because that's one of Dr. Wallach's certified health claims from his lawsuit against the FDA. Is we can legally say, because it's a fact, that selenium supplementation significantly reduces breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, and lung cancer, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's not a bad idea to take copper, the Youngevity selenium. Check out the copper. Let me know how you do, and I'm glad you're finally joining us on the gluten-free train. You're going to love how you feel. Thanks for the call, Robert. Stick around, folks. Sharon in Illinois is back when we return. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Our next live webinar for insiders only is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central Time. If you haven't become an insider yet, man, oh man, you're missing it. I have over 100 hours of archived health webinars at your fingertips. Plus, I don't know how many hours, 5, 6, 7, I think, 7 hours now of archived business building training. Plus, we do 6 hours of live webinars a week, 6 hours of live webinars a week that you can use to help show your friends and family members and church members what the heck we're up to. I mean, that's the easiest thing in the world. You have the easiest job. I got a hard job. All you have to do is point. I have to explain. All you have to do is point. I know a doctor that has a different way of thinking about this. I know a doctor that says, you don't have to suffer with that. If I send you a link to this webinar, will you show up? If I send you a link to this archived webinar, will you watch it? That's all you have to do. And that's easy breezy lemon squeezy. There's no reason why you can't have a successful Youngevity business if you know how to point. Let's go to Illinois and talk to Sharon. Hey, Sharon, what's going on? You are live.
Hello, sir. God bless you very much. I'm telling you, you are such a blessing. Anyway, I'm a piece of art in work.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah, I'm a real piece of art. But anyway, I do want to tell you this. I got a couple of things to tell you, and what I want you to tell you is this, is that my daughter-in-law's father was diagnosed with colon cancer and stage 4, and it had gone to the liver. And I told him about Z-Radical and going gluten-free and all that, and she started watching some of your things, and they ordered it. He was on chemo for 3 weeks, and you know how they test and stuff. They had done a blood test on him after a couple weeks, and they come back and said, whoa, we've never seen this before. Your blood is really, I mean, it's fantastic, your blood level. They were shocked. So now after 3 weeks, they did a scan on him, and they said, you've only been on chemo for 3 weeks, and your tumor is half its size.
Yeah.
And they said, we've never seen this before. So praise God. Just wanted you to know that.
Well, you got to love it, right? And remember, it's important just for, legal considerations to understand here that we're not treating cancer.
Right.
I mean, all that we're doing is providing people with nutritional supplements, the intention of which is to bring their body into a state of health. And, I'm telling you the truth, man. If this was a perfect world, right? Can you imagine? We get anecdotal reports about stuff like this all of the time. I mean, all of the time. It's becoming the rule rather than the exception now. Can you imagine how much further along we'd be with cancer if the money were given to holistic medical treatments, science-based, clinically verified holistic medical treatments for cancer? We'd be light years ahead of where we are now. Look at what we're getting with the results that we're getting when we don't even treat cancer. Can you imagine the results that we'd get if we actually knuckled down and legally, professionally, responsibly treated cancer? It would be unbelievable. And, this is...
I agree. I am blown away. And I do want to tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm a minister, and when I found out about longevity, God brought this into our life, really, and I'm so thankful for it. But I was checking you out, no offense, and I was checking out other, how they have other things on longevity and people that you can, get under. And what I really liked about you guys is the fact that your focus wasn't about the money, it was about people.
Yeah, right.
And that's my heart. And it was like, yes. And I was so blessed to find that, because you guys really do care about people, and your concern is people. And that's just a blessing. So I just wanted to add that, to this and let you know about that. And that I'm just blessed to be a part of it, because it is about people. That's my heart. And it's like, wow, the whole longevity thing is under you it's about people, and I love that. So I really and
thank you for the positive strokes, and that's where our motto came from. My longevity team's motto, Team Glidden, is mission before commission.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
mission before commission, and that's what we're up to. And I have to tell you, I mean, it's kind of. I don't want to say it's devious on our part, but it works on our part financially, because when people come into longevity for health and they secure their health, they're a customer for lifetime. And that makes our wealth increase. So by not focusing on the money, we get more money. And God is great. I mean, you got to love it. It's the perfect storm. Hey, Sharon, it's a hard break. Stick with me. I'll pick this up in a couple of minutes. I appreciate it. Welcome back, everybody. Want to get away from the Midwest winter? I don't blame you. Let me know where you're going. Maybe we can meet and have a round of golf and talk about all things related to health. Let's go back to Sharon and see what's cooking. Hey, Sharon, how can I help?
Okay. I had talked to you back in January, and you put me in, because I had insomnia for 10 years. I was the one diagnosed with polio from a stupid polio shot when I was a kid. Anyway, I have ridges on the nail, cold hand, cold feet, warm heart, thin hair, eye floaters, head constipation. That's gone, glory to God. Of course, poor memory because of the sleep problem. Anyway, and I was on the Healthy Start Pack. I was on enzymes, sweeties, selenium, and root beer belly. And I started falling asleep for the first time in my life, I said my life, but the last 10 years. I'd sleep about 3.5 to 4.5 hours. It was awesome. Then I'd go for about a week, and then boom, I'd go down to 2 hours. The next night, 1 hour. Then nothing for days. I'd feel so yucky. Then weeks would go on, and I'd get like 4 hours the whole week. Then I would give up, and I'd not give up. I guess I did give up. And I would take like 5 milligrams of Valium just to sleep after a couple weeks. I'd sleep 7 hours. The next night, didn't take anything. I take the longevity stuff. and I'd fall asleep on my own. Again, this would go a couple days, 3 or 4 days, 3.5 hours, 4 hours. Then all of a sudden, down to 2, then 1, then nothing. And this would go again for weeks. And it was like after a couple weeks, I'm like a zombie. So I would take like 50 milligrams of Seroquel because I'm just kind of switching. I don't even want to take this junk. But anyway, I'd sleep 9 hours. The next night, I'm not taking that junk. I fall asleep on my own, and I would sleep in the process of do it again. I'd go for days and do 3.5, 4 hours, and then come down to 2, 1, then nothing. Okay, now this last couple weeks, same thing, and I took 15 milligrams of Seroquel 3 nights ago, and I slept 7 hours. But that's it. The next night, nothing. And I'm noticing that, okay, the constipation's gone, glory to God, like I said. But I noticed that when around 8:30, between 8:30 and 9:15, if I feel sleepy, after that 9:15 moment, it's like, bam, I'm wide awake. And those are the nights I definitely don't sleep. And then I noticed, too, that when I'm sitting, it's like, okay, I feel like my hands tremors, and I look down, but it ain't tremoring, but it feels like it.
Yeah, all right. So there's two things that you need to do here. Number one, there's a blood sugar issue that's wrapped up in this. There's a blood sugar issue that's wrapped up in this. So what's your current body weight and how many sweeties are you taking?
Oh, my friend, I have lost. I was 130 on my life. I'm down to 109, and I'm 5'8".
How many sweeties are you taking a day?
Well, you know what? I was just taking one after a meal, and then I would take 3 ounces of OsteoFX before bed sometimes, and I would take a Sweeties and go to bed. Now, I want to tell you this. In February, okay, I added Cell Shield, triple treat chocolate, and 4 days ago I started Z-Radical, and then I also grabbed some de-stress just because I do the raw eggs in a smoothie.
Well, yeah, but look, here's the deal, right? If your car has a flat tire, putting transmission fluid and power steering fluid and giving the engine a tune-up isn't going to do anything for the tire. You need to put air in the tire.
Yeah.
So you got to do Sweeties, and you got to do this isn't a life-threatening thing, but this is a bummer, man, because when sleep isn't present, it's a bummer, right? I mean, it affects everything. I know. Yeah. All right, so we have to dial this in, and it would be better to err on the side of overdoing it than on the side of underdoing it. So get 2 bottles of Sweeties. 2 bottles of Sweeties. Take 8 a day. 8 a day.
Okay.
4 between breakfast and lunch, and 4 between lunch and dinner. 4 between breakfast and lunch, and 4 between lunch and dinner. Do that every day for 4 weeks like your life depended on it. Continue the calcium dose. I wouldn't take that much calcium at 100 pounds before bed. You can get away with 2 ounces before bed, but you shouldn't do any more than that. 2 ounces a day is plenty for you. Do it right before bed. So you just got to get into that rhythm. You got to get into that rhythm of 4 Sweeties twice a day, my Beyond Tangy Tangerine, my EFAs, and then my calcium before bed. Okay? Now, I want you to do that for 2 weeks and see what happens.
Okay.
If there's no resolution here, right? If you still need to lean on the Seroquel or whatever, then the next most common thing to consider is you need a cleanse.
I need a what?
A cleanse. You need to do a cleanse.
Are you talking a colon cleanse?
Yes, I am.
Ooh, okay.
You need
Where
a colon
do you go
cleanse.
For that?
Well, you need to do a little Google search for colon hydrotherapist. Colon hydrotherapist. Now, I'm assuming you're an insider, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so go into the archives. I did a whole webinar on how to do a cleanse. And I talked about colon hydrotherapy and how to find a colonic hydrotherapist and how to do the program. And I'm going to bet you 25 cents that there's something messing up the works down there because you have a long and strong persistent history of constipation, right? So when the colon is messed up and, gummed up, for lack of a better word, the intestinal tract is messed up, And when the intestinal tract is messed up, you're not going to be able to absorb the nutrients efficiently and effectively, even if you're staying away from gluten, because everything's connected.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So even if I'm having a normal bowel movement,
yes, because of your history, and this just doesn't make sense.
Tell me about it.
That the nutritional program should work and then it should stop working. Mm-hmm. So the only possibility there is, either you have a voodoo curse or, right, you've got something that's interfering with the absorption of the nutrients. And given the fact that you're gluten-free, well, that can't be it. But what else is going on down there? Well, you have a strong, long, persistent problem with constipation. And so the game is afoot in your digestive tract. You need a cleanse. You need a cleanse. So check it out.
Okay.
And the Sweeties isn't going to hurt. Okay?
Okay, so I can still do the Z-Radical and the Fucoid Z?
Yeah, if your budget allows it, those are great things to do, but those aren't going to help your sleep at all.
Right. Okay. And what about the plant? I also do the plant-derived mineral.
Well, I'm definitely down with that. If I were the king of longevity, the plant-derived minerals would be a part of every healthy start pack.
Okay, so just at night before I go to bed, just do the OsteoFX and no Sweeties with it, but just the OsteoFX?
Yep, 2 ounces of OsteoFX before bed, and do 4 Sweeties between lunch or between breakfast and lunch, and 4 between lunch and dinner.
All right. You got my back.
All right, Sharon, I'll look forward to it.
You'll be hearing from me. God bless you, and thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
My pleasure very much. Yeah, that's how we do it, folks, one person at a time. It all makes sense from the proper perspective. Kate from Utah is up next. She's been waiting patiently. Hey, Kate, what's going on out there in Utah?
Oh, just we got sunshine today, finally.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's not as cold as it's been. So, anyway, it's doing good here. And I'm a distributor, and I have a person that has a problem with vitiligo.
Yeah, vitiligo. That's white patches on the skin, yeah.
Correct, yes. And when you look it up in Dr. Wallach's book, let's say doctor, it talks about the placenta and the living cell therapy, the life cell therapy, and the phenylalanine. Did I pronounce it?
Yeah, phenylalanine. Yeah, phenylalanine.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. I don't have to pronounce that. Anyway, I've heard that I just want to know what you would recommend for him. I'm working with him, and he'd like to do something about this. So. Okay,
so in order to have healthy skin pigment, which is what needs to happen here, there are a couple of nutrients that the body needs to have. The body needs selenium, which is a trace mineral, and the body needs phenylalanine. It also needs an amino acid called tyrosine. It needs those things in order to make pigment. So it would be prudent then to ingest those things in the form of a nutritional supplement in order to optimize the body's ability to have healthy pigmentation. So the way that we do that is with 1 healthy start pack and 2 ultimate selenium, 1 healthy start pack and 2 ultimate selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Now, for the amino acids, for a little extra amino acids, because there are amino acids sufficient to the cause in the healthy start pack, but it's not a bad idea to do a little more here. The recommendation would be 1 bottle of HGH Youth Complex, 1 HGH Youth Complex per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Now, also, so that's the nutritional supplement stuff, right? That's what I would recommend they do. Now, in addition to that, they have to maximize their body's absorption of the supplements, right? Because you wouldn't pour gasoline into a tank that had holes in it, right? Yeah, so you want to make sure that the digestive tract is all, trimmed up and ready to go. And the way that we maximize absorption of the nutritional supplements is by prohibiting consumption of the 10 bad foods. Okay.
Okay, and I have told him about those, so.
Okay, and it's important, and this is one of the ways that my webinars and my recorded videos can really help, because if you tell him to stop eating gluten, well, maybe, but if the doctor tells him, or the doctor explains it, then, well, probably there's going to be a little more leverage there, right? So use the videos that I've put together to your advantage here to help, get people over the speed bump. And Dr. Wallach also recorded a really nice little audio CD called Serial Killer, Cereal, right? Get it? Serial Killer.
I have that. I love it. Yes.
Yeah, so lend it to this guy.
Okay.
Because when he listens to it, he's going to be more inclined to do it because he's going to understand it, and, that's how we roll, right?
Right. Okay. All righty. I want to tell you that I cannot express my gratitude enough for your webinars. I am an insider. I use them every single day. I share them with anybody I can. They love them. They come back and just thank me so much for sharing that with them. And it all goes to you and then Dr. Wallach too. But it's just been like a life-sent prayer to get in contact with you guys and to have this knowledge. You're like a university of knowledge for me. I've had help, good help my whole life. I've been interested in help, and I knew the body could heal itself. I just didn't know how. And this has been quite an amazing adventure for me. I'm really grateful for it. So. Well,
Kate, thank you very much. What goes around comes around. We are Longevity Nation. And if it were, we might be the drivers of the train, but if it weren't for the people stoking the coal, I think we'd be dead in the water here. So,
right.
We all work together. And I appreciate the kind words, though. I don't hear them enough. Appreciate you, Kate. Keep up the good work. Well, that's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. You got to love it, right? I mean, all we do is talk about the truth and then do it again and then do it again and then do it again. And then sleep very soundly because you've made a difference in the lives of others. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Going to finish it out with Anita and hopefully Marilyn and Virginia. Stick around.
Despite
that positive feedback. Keep it coming, folks. Keep it coming. Everybody needs a leg up every once in a while, including yours truly. Let's go to Connecticut and see what Anita is up to. Hey, Anita, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I'm going to try to talk fast because I got 3 things that I need some help with.
Shoot.
September 2nd, I went on a wheat-free diet. This was before I knew anything about longevity.
Yeah.
And I lost 14 pounds. I really wasn't that overweight, but I lost 14 pounds. And in the 3 months that I was on that diet, controlling my diabetes, which I've always controlled by diet, my A1C went from 5.9 down to 5.5, and I was thrilled.
Yeah.
And then I found out about longevity, and I spoke to you in December, and I started what you told me to do January 1st, which was Tangy Tangerine, 3 scoops. I'm 82 years old. The liquid minerals, 2 tablespoons a day. Sweeties, 9 a day. And my blood sugar started to go up into the hundreds again, like up to 110. And so then I tried for 3 days, 12 a day, and it was still going up. So I thought I better go down. So I went back to, now I've been on 8 a day. Selenium, I'm on 5 a day. EFA plus, 7 a day. Glucogel, 15 a day. And Beyond Osteo FX powder, 2 scoops a day. And since I can't swallow pills, I put all of this in a glass and make a drink. And it works good for me. And then
all right,
I have
great.
one other thing, because this is really bothering me. 3 weeks ago, my lips felt like I had been laying out in the sun for 25 hours, and my lips were all burned up. If you looked at them, they didn't look bad. And then they started to scale, and I have brown scales, and the dermatologist was doing what you said yesterday you shouldn't do. She wants me to go on cortisone cream.
Yeah.
And I tried a lot of natural things, aloe vera on them, silver on them, and nothing has helped. And they're dried out, and I don't know what to do.
Okay, so you need to stop the selenium. Okay.
stopped selenium completely.
I think, well, the longevity selenium. I think you're having an allergic reaction to the bilberry fruit that's in there. That's what I think is happening.
Oh, okay.
This sounds to me
stop
like
that altogether.
Yeah, just stop it all together and see what happens to the lips. How many EFAs are you taking?
EFA plus 7 a day.
And what's your current body weight?
145.
Okay, so take 9 a day for the next 7 days, please.
9 a day. Okay, that's 9. Okay.
3, 3, and 3. Now, since, your little excursion into the land of no wheat in January, what's your diet been like since you started longevity?
Oh, I'm on the whole no 10. I don't have any of that, and I live alone, so I can control it.
Okay, so you're completely
really
off of the 10 bad foods.
Yep, I'm off.
Okay, great. And now, okay, how do you feel?
Well, my blood pressure sort of went up a little bit, too. I've always controlled it by diet, and it was down to, like, systolic 126, and my diastolic and pulse are always in the 60s, no matter what. But now, like, they're in the systolic's gone up to the 130s.
Yeah, so that you're consuming something that you're allergic to, and there's either something in the longevity products or there's something that you're eating in your day-to-day life that now that you've stopped the 10 bad foods, right? You switched it out to something else, and there's something that you're eating that you're allergic to that's making this all happen. It's kind of a tough nut to crack here. Mm-hmm. One thing that I would do. I would stop all of the longevity supplements. Stop them all for 3 days in a row, except the EFAs. Keep taking the EFAs. Stop everything else. Okay?
Except okay.
EFAs, and you're doing the plant-derived minerals as well, right?
Yes. Should I
Okay.
take that?
So take the plant minerals and take the EFAs, but stop everything else.
No tangerine.
Nothing. Stop everything else except the EFAs and the plant minerals for 72 hours. Then on day 4, one product at a time, 1 day at a time, add the stuff back into your diet and look to see which one tweaks your blood pressure, because one of them is doing it. And you'll be able to figure out if you add them one at a time. So you clean the deck for 3 days in a row, and then 1 day at a time, one product at a time, you add that back into your program, measure your blood pressure a couple times that day. And if you do it that way, you'll be able to figure out which product is tweaking the blood pressure. And then call me back, Anita, and I'll help you deal with it. Regretfully, we are out of time. I appreciate you.